The Gull's Nest is on the air. It's time for a weekly dose of Seaside High School athletics with the Gull's Nest. If it happens on the field, in the pool, or on the court, you'll hear it here. The Gull's Nest is sponsored by Ocean Crest Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac.
Good evening and welcome to the Gull's Nest. Athletic Director Jason Boyd here with head football coach Chad Smith. Coach, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
The Gull's Nest is brought to you by Ocean Crest Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac, home of the lifetime warranty.
We'd also like to thank our participating sponsors, Seaside Factory Outlet Center and Angelina's Pizzeria and Cafe.
So, Coach, we'll do a little recap here of last Friday. It's the Seaside's first opportunity to play varsity football at CMH Field up in Astoria in the Clatsop Clash, and some pretty interesting battles this year between the two schools so far in the fall season, with volleyball sweeping Astoria both times. The soccer world on the girls' side looking super competitive. The boys winning the first half of that Clatsop Clash, and then with football, not necessarily the score that we were looking for, but as we've kind of discussed this season, when you are kind of low in numbers and definitely low on your upperclassmen, it's going to be tough going against Cedar-laden teams, which Astoria is. Yeah,
Astoria's a great team, and I expect them to do some great things this year as they continue on. They've got some really good senior players and mostly skilled kids, and so, they're going to be real competitive in our league, and we'll see how they end up here towards the end of the season.
Yeah, and you mentioned competitive in the league. Our league is super competitive across the state right now, looking at the matchups and the rankings. So, again, the Quappa League, it seems to be year in, year out when it comes to football and volleyball, especially, that we're kind of top-notch. Cross-country this year, we're going to send two teams to the state meet, and three of our teams right now are ranked in the top four. So it's an ultra competitive league at the 4A level this year, and that's great for your league, but it's tough when you're trying to build your program and develop. But you're not going to get any better playing the really weak teams, other than maybe psychologically getting some wins. Playing the best, you know where that line is, and you know where you have to go.
Right. Yeah, it's a great challenge for us, and we, like you said, we wouldn't want to be in a different league. It's a great challenge for us week in and out, and we're looking to get better and compete against those teams, and it's a great measuring stick for where we are as a program and where we want to go.
So, Coach, looking back at the first half of the Astoria game, they came out right away. Lots of high-powered downfield attacks. Were able to pick up some quick scores. We weren't able to move the ball very effectively and go into halftime down several touchdowns. Come out in the second half, and it's a little different story. I know they rotated some people in, and we seemed to kind of catch our wind and started moving the ball on offense.
Yeah, we talked to them at halftime about how our physical effort was there, but mentally we made a lot of mistakes assignment-wise, and so those are things that we continue to work on, and we want to get better at and make sure that we have that same physical effort, but our mental effort needs to be better. Make sure we're doing our assignments, and we'll be in better shape. I think in the second half we got a little better at that. Still not where we want to be, but we're going to continue to work on that every day in practice, and with our next 3 games here, and kind of see where we are. Our kids are so excited. We're still practicing hard and wanting to get better.
So, Coach, let's talk a little bit about the development of Garrett Kaiser, transfer from Wyoming. He started your season as a running back, and he's a junior this year. Last time he played quarterback was in the 8th grade. But it really looks like, to me, every series you see him just getting more confident and better as he tries to lead this team offensively down the field.
Garrett's good. He's a good kid. He's a good athlete, and so he did play quarterback in middle school. That's been 2 years now. So there's a lot of things that we're continuing to work on with him. But he's a coachable kid and does what we ask him to do. He's our 4th quarterback that's taken a snap this year, and so not a lot of coaches plan for having 4 or 5 different quarterbacks take snaps during the year, and so luckily we had him taking reps at the beginning of the year, and so he has a good idea of our offensive system and our plays, and so he's only going to get better as we move on, and as he gets a hang of playing that position.
Mm-hmm. And he seems to be taking a little bit of a leadership role. Obviously, as a quarterback, you kind of need to when you're out there on the line. But here's a kid who's embraced that opportunity to play quarterback, as opposed to, oh gosh, you really want me to take that spot. It doesn't seem to be a really a positive one for us this year. So kudos to Garrett to step up in that situation. Offensive line looks to be improving. Our kids are, like we said, the physical efforts there. We just want to make sure we work on the mental assignments, step in the correct way, picking up the correct man. And, a lot of teams are going to blitz us. They're going to blitz us, every game because they've seen our previous films. And so, right. We got to continue to work on picking up the blitz and, keeping our eyes up and protecting our quarterback. And we need to establish a running game so we can have our passing game be successful. Okay, Coach, when we come back, we'll talk about the matchup tomorrow night at Valley Catholic, 7 p.m.
Stand by for more with Jason Boyd and the Gull's Nest next on 102.3 KCRX. Now, back to the Gull's Nest on 102.3 KCRX.
Welcome back to the Gull's Nest. Jason Boyd here with head football coach Chad Smith. Ocean Crest's never-ending quest to provide a better customer service experience has raised the bar. With their lifetime limited powertrain warranty on virtually every vehicle they sell, new or used, Ocean Crest Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac, off Highway 101 in Warrenton, home of the lifetime warranty. So, Coach, Valley Catholic this week, we get another road game. We get to play it, obviously, at Valley. This is the second, third year of their new turf field. It's nice that we get to play on a facility that we're used to as far as the surface. It makes it really nice for, I think, that spread offense, being able to move the ball. It works to our advantage for speed. What do you see Valley Catholic coming out with, as they're one of the top teams in the state right now also?
Well, yeah, they're they're much improved from previous seasons. They always have a lot of skill kids. When we look at their 4 receivers, I think 3 out of the 4 are 6'5" or taller. So, it's going to be another great challenge for us. They like to throw the ball down the field, and our secondary and skill guys on the defense are going to be challenged this week. And, I think our kids are excited for the challenge, and they're going to come out with that great effort, and, and hopefully we shore up some of the mental mistakes that we've made.
So, trying to slow down their passing attack, are you in the line of, or the idea of maybe blitzing a little more often? Are you just going to match up on the corners and send more guys at the quarterback? Or are you going to try to play a little more zone and try to catch them in a situation where they don't really read it correctly?
I think Coach Faust is going to mix it up. He's going to blitz sometimes. Sometimes he's going to be in coverage. It just depends on down and distance and some of their tendencies that we have from their film, on where we're going to blitz from and how we're going to blitz. And so I think we'll mix it up a lot. But we really want to be wary of that passing game and make sure that our secondary is shored up, especially if we are going to blitz. We'll make sure we communicate with each other and know who we need to be covering.
Right. Well, Coach, good luck. Again, game time against the Valley Catholic Valiants is Friday night at 7 o'clock up in Beaverton, Oregon. Wish you the best of luck, Coach, and we'll see you next week.
All right. Thank you.
So I'd like to welcome to the show now Josh Garhofer. Coach, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate being here.
Coach, so this is the first time I've had you here, so I've got a laundry list of things that I'd really like to talk about. But this is your first year as our head coach. Last year you were assistant under Matt Johnson, and this year taking the reins. And it's how's that experience been for you, being the guy in charge this year?
It's really been a learning process, and having Matt there, being the assistant last year, taught me a lot how to have a relationship with the girls. This year, being with Matt, has really taught me how to incorporate my own ideals into the program. So it's been awesome.
So give us one or two of those ideals. What are things that you're putting in to make this girls program team better?
Right. Besides just the conditioning and all the drills, I mean, in games, when and if we get scored on, I mean, we're right back up, always coming at them. I don't want any lapse of in the moment thinking, we just got scored on, we're done, we're beat,
Right.
Game, I mean, soccer games, people think it's 0-0 all the time. There's a lot of 3-0 losses and wins in there, so it's a quick scoring game.
Absolutely. When we look at the mental side of things, and especially in high school sports, that really, to me, as I look at the kind of the high school career here and all the teams that have passed through under my time, the mental aspect is by far the most important piece that you can have. So having a coach in place that's really concentrating on that and getting kids' heads right first, where they're thinking about the situation as problem solvers, not reactionary to everything that's always occurring to them. Obviously, it's going to help out in the program, but it's such a great life skill to be teaching these young ladies also. So commend you for working so hard on that. So, Coach, defensively, are you doing anything different this year than maybe you guys have done last year?
So the formation is the same as last year, but we've slotted in a few new players. Corey Fuller is on the right side. She played as a forward last year, and she's doing an excellent job. I have Morgan here, who's played in the top of our defensive role. She's kind of our first reaction to that other offense. And then we always have Briar Babbitt in the back, just sweeping everything fast, quick. And then the last person on the left is Danya Nolasco, and she was a JV player last year, but she's really stepped up this year.
Yeah, defensively, watching our line, and we're kind of in that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're kind of in that 4 deep situation is what you're looking at. So if you're not a soccer aficionado, basically you have your goalie at the back, very back end, and then you have 4 kids up in front, and those 4 kids really have to work together as a unit. As one reaches out to the side, everybody kind of has to flow and keep certain distance, and they have to really communicate to make sure that ball is not breaking that line to be able to score a goal. And then they have to work to make sure that they're keeping in a certain position on the field to try to keep that offense closer to midfield and not allow them to stretch out and basically force the other team to think about being offside all the time.
Right.
So, Coach, offensively, what is something that you've seen this year that's been really positive?
Well, one thing I've loved is having Sydney Viegas back from a hiatus last year. And she is just a tough girl. I mean, girls don't get around her very easily. One thing I love also in Maddie Brown is just speed. I seem last year seemed like we lacked a little bit of speed on top. This year seems a little different. We also have a few new starting players in the form of Audrey Kunde and Katie Zagata. They're both wing players, and both those girls can run. So having them there just really solidifies our presence in the midfield.
Great. When we come back, we'll continue talking with our head girls soccer coach, Mr. Garhofer, and one of our senior captains, Morgan Brown.
Stand by for more with Jason Boyd and the Gull's Nest next on 102.3 KCRX. Now, back to the Gull's Nest on 102.3 KCRX.
Welcome back to the Gull's Nest. Jason Boyd here with our head girls soccer coach, Josh Garhofer, and a senior captain, Morgan Brown. Morgan, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jason.
So, Morgan, what's one of the things that you really appreciate this year about your soccer team?
I have been really impressed with the way that the team is starting to come together and really work together, both on the field and off the field.
So, give me some specifics on that. What's something that you notice that you would say, this is how we're really working together? This is something that I see this year that I didn't see last year.
Looking at the defensive line, for an example, when we first started, it was a little rough trying to take everyone's spot when someone would go up to the ball. Now I really see some of our midfielders as well as our outside defense, Corey and Danya, really coming in to fill that spot when Briar or I go up to the ball.
Okay. So when you talk about, and for our listeners, because not everybody maybe knows what's going on here. So when you're that back line, as I was explaining in the earlier segment, when you go up and attack that ball closer to midfield, or maybe even you get a place where you can carry that ball all the way up and maybe to a scoring position, that leaves just 3 people back. So you're talking about making sure that they fill that until you can get back and fill your spot on the defense, marking up players and making sure no one basically gets in to score on you guys. Am I correct with that?
Yes, that is correct.
Yes, my soccer skills are coming through. So from a team aspect, that togetherness, how do you feel it's going this year as an entire group?
I think it's going pretty well. We've had a couple rough spots, but we've all started to really work together to make sure that everyone's included and that we're being really positive and encouraging on the field and off the field, really practice and games.
Mm-hmm. Now, kind of like I was talking with Coach Smith earlier in the show about just the competitiveness in the Quappa League, and you look at girls soccer, and it's really in that same boat, is that you have Valley Catholic and Scappoose, and those 2 schools are perennial state champion contenders. And then you have kind of Seaside and Banks and Astoria and Tillamook. You have 4 other schools that have been pretty competitive. Tillamook, is at the bottom end of that, and you guys have been really competitive in the vast majority of your games this season. Just haven't quite been getting on that, on the winning side of things. You picked up a real nice 4-0 victory at Tillamook last week, and then kind of a real tough fought match against Banks on Tuesday this week, which was it was an exciting match to watch. It just things just didn't quite pan out for us in the end, and we ended up taking a loss to Banks. And then you get the opportunity to host Scappoose tonight here in just a little bit, about 45 minutes or so from now at 7:30. So just want to remind everybody to come on down to Broadway Field tonight. It's going to be a fantastic evening for soccer, and watch our girls take on the Scappoose Indians. How are you feeling about tonight's matchup?
I'm excited. I'm looking at the girls and hoping that we all come out swinging and just play to our intensity no matter how the game goes. Well,
Morgan and Josh, good luck tonight. I know that we'll be there rooting you guys on, and really excited about where our girls soccer program is going, and want to wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Recapping some of our other events, boys soccer lost a tough one last week to Tillamook, and then has Scappoose tonight. They actually played this afternoon. Don't have results for that just yet. If you want to find out the latest and greatest, you can go to the osaa.org website and find all the results for contests. And remember to go to www.coopaleague.org for all of our schedules, as we do have schedule changes. Speaking of schedule changes, the boys football game at North Marion for our JV team has been canceled. That was scheduled for Monday the 10th. So that game is no longer on the books. Please don't be driving that direction on Monday. Big event coming up this weekend, this Saturday at Seaside High School. The girls volleyball team, in conjunction with Columbia Memorial Hospital, is hosting the Columbia Memorial Hospital Varsity Volleyball Invitational. That starts at 8:30 a.m. Games will be played at Seaside High School and at Broadway Middle School. There are 16 teams, again, at this tournament this year. Local teams would include Warrenton, Astoria, and Seaside. We'll see some of the top teams in the state, as number 3 Banks and number 1 Valley Catholic will be here, as well as many others from across the state, including as far away as LeGrand. So this is a really big opportunity to see some fantastic volleyball at the 4A level here in our local community. Also, the girls volleyball is having a fundraising program that night. They're going to have a teriyaki chicken rice bowl opportunity in the afternoon from about 1 to 3 p.m. You can come by and buy a delicious meal for your kind of late lunch, watch a little volleyball, and have a fantastic day. So we encourage you to stop by, watch volleyball, and get something to eat and support the girls' volleyball program. Cross country will be off to Philomath this weekend, and looking at the boys and girls teams this year, they have really done some fantastic things and lining themselves up for the district cross country meet October 26th. This Saturday's meet at Philomath is a great opportunity for the girls especially to really kind of outline what they're going to do against some other really good competition and see how they stack up with the rest of the state. I just want to remind everybody again that the schedules for all of our Seaside High School events are located at www.coapaleague.org, and want to encourage everybody to get out there and support your local athletes. These kids are working really, really hard, and it really helps them. It gives them a little bit more confidence when our fans are filling the stands and supporting them. See you out on the field or on the court. Go Goals.
Thank you for tuning in to the Gull's Nest, a weekly look at Seaside High School athletics. Join us Thursdays at 6 p.m. The Gull's Nest on 102.3 KCRX, sponsored by Ocean Crest Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac.